Hello, Carol Taylor-Kearney here at Powell Arts, and I am with the sensational Chris Wagner and her art piece, and she's going to tell us about it. Chris.
Okay. Obviously, I do abstract art, and I this basically is a blue painting in my estimation, and I use blue. It's calming to me. It's tranquil, and as you can see, I do use a lot of white. Um, that is rest period. It's
Well, you also use a lot of other colors too, which I find beautiful.
I start out painting, making marks, and basically, it turns out to be full of color, and then I start omitting, and I take away.
Yeah, and I described it as like, and I feel like this is part of what makes you such an elegant and graceful person is that you curate your piece in real time. Like a lot of artists are reacting to the marks they're making, which you are doing, but you are also thinking of what the viewer is going to see and what they're not. So you're working as both artist and editor, which is amazing.
Well, I would like for my art to be pleasing to the viewer, but I would like for them to interpret it however they feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
It is, as long as it has great composition and colors, and I use lines, obviously, that's what makes the painting. And I find it fascinating to do art. I feel that I am really happy that I found this pastime.
It's for you. It's not just a pastime; it's a calling. Because
yeah, I love it. I mean, I need to do this almost every day. I try.
Yeah. And you can see that in your work. I mean, I'm just having so much fun following this bouncy line, and then it's like, boop, I have a flower. And I feel so much like what the season's going through right now.
Yes, yeah? Yes. That's why it's called, it must be spring. The colors and the flower, for instance. I usually don't try to put anything on my art that resembles, that's recognizable, but it happened here.
So I have a question about, because obviously you work a lot with line and mark making. When you start your piece and you're getting in there to get going, do you start with line? Do you start with a color? How do you approach it?
I actually use just about everything: pencil, pens, markers, chalk, crayons. That's how I try to loosen up somewhat. And I try to make a plan as to what I'm going to do, but I'm rarely successful. By the time I put the first color on, it has changed. I have deviated from my plan. And I'm into basically the process. That is what my art is about.
Yeah.
And your art feels like that because in some ways it reminds me of like some kind of architectural plan, but at the same time, it almost looks like it's a machine of its own, that it's mechanical and it's erupting with these things.
It's almost narrative. We don't usually talk about abstract as narrative, but your work is narrative because in the way that you're doing the layers and taking things in, putting things in and taking them out, you're telling a story about what's happening in the piece.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I like that.
And there's such movement.
I told you, we're huge fans.
Yeah. There's movement. I mean, I feel like these are almost like flags that I want to go along with. And there's other areas that remind me of sunshine or clouds or rainbows or, even your square that almost looks like it's coming down and the circle that just makes me happy and smile.
Well, and one of the reasons you have to see, I know we are like a broken record, we're like, you have to see this in person. But one of the reasons you have to see yours in person is when you are up close, really exploring this, you find your eye traveling across the lines and the different colors and where I've told you before, you use negative space in a way that is so amazing. But the thing is like you want to look and see what's on top, what's fading back, where each of those levels comes in. And I think that that's really something that is very enjoyable about your work is you're allowing us to both see like your obscuring parts, but then you're letting us see through into the artifacts that work.
So basically, it works that I am trying to create depth and a story.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
So
you absolutely must come into Powell Arts to see Chris Wagner's beautiful piece from now until May 14th.
You did it. She even got the date right for you.
Woo!
Great job, guys.